everyone. Today we got to play this beautiful game.
Tutankhamun.
There you go. So this is an Egyptian-themed Nile tile game. But before we get into it, don't forget to hit the subscribe button and the notification bell because you like board games, and this game's like super pretty, so you want to learn more about it. Randy, tell us more about this game.
So this was a Gen Con release. It's a 2021 release. I think actually it might have been a Kickstarter, but because there were two versions of it, this was the upgraded version, clearly.
Mm-hmm.
The rating on Board Game Geek right now is 7.0. The rank is 7,252. It plays 2 to 6 players, and it averages 30 minutes, which is about right. Age is 8 and up, which I think is also about right.
Yeah, Sarah could have easily played this game.
Yeah, it's very simple. Designed by Rainer Nizia, very popular designer. Lots of good games from him. Art is designed by Jackie Davis and published by 25th Century Games. It's an abstract strategy, tile drafting, and set collection game. So,
cool. All right, let's talk about quality of pieces. Holy moly.
It's off the charts.
I mean, listen, these tiles, absolutely gorgeous. Okay, so like pretty on the... They have like a woven basket weave on the... Like, it is super cool. Like, it was like, wow, they really thought this through all the way around. You've got these little boats. You have this beautiful
I think they're cardboard tiles, but they're sealed, so they feel like they're wood.
Yeah, well, I mean... But this is all standard edition, right?
I believe the standard is the same. I don't know because I saw this and I'm like, I'm not interested in that standard version when I saw it at Gen Con.
So look, I mean, they have this. This is a first player marker for no reason.
Yeah, because
you don't need it.
You don't need a first player marker.
Then you have this amazing like tomb thing going on,
which is the score chart around the perimeter.
Yes, again, absolutely gorgeous. You've got this beautifully embroidered bag,
which is rounded no less, so the tokens don't stick in the corners.
Again. Yeah,
but this is probably the most superfluous thing.
I don't know, the first player token.
The underworld chart or section over here is for when you remove tiles because you pass them in the game, they get stuck over here. There's no reason, but they put a mouse pad play mat. I mean, it's just off the top. And these two statues, all they do is sit there. They have no function whatsoever.
It looks pretty. The function is beauty.
It is off the charts. They customized all of the scored markers, and they're all screen printed, the boats and the markers, but the markers are custom. So every one of the players has a different head on it. So, I mean, yeah, there's no reason. And the playmat comes in a tomb that looks, it's faux leather. It's not really leather. It's cardboard. But that was probably the only piece that was bad because it fell apart. The top of it just popped off. So there's like the lid, there was like the cardboard circle that was in the middle of it and it just tore. But the mat itself is really nice, and it's even stitched on the edges.
I know, it's so nice.
Yeah, and this was not that expensive of a game. If I recall, I paid like $40 for this whole thing, maybe, and that's a Gen Con price. Listen,
it's got to be a 10 because I don't know what more they could have done.
Yeah, I mean it's off the chart.
Like
if there's anything I've ever seen that I would say is overproduced for the game, it's this. I mean, but I'm glad I did it because I love quality pieces. But there's no reason this game needed to be that. But I love it.
No, it's absolutely gorgeous. I mean, this is an eye catcher. So let's talk about themes. So obviously, you have your little boats. You're going up the Nile, and you're trying to do a set collection tile thing, right? So. Your option, well, that's gameplay, but so that's kind of the theme. The quality of pieces like imbued the theme.
Yeah.
And I like the fact that you're going, so you can go as far up the Nile as you want, but you can only go back one. And like that's so true for rivers, right? It takes so much more to go upstream.
Well, I don't think you could get a speedboat in ancient Egyptian times to take you all the way to the end of the Nile.
But why would you do that?
But
right?
But there's no reason you can't in this game.
Right. Which I learned to my detriment. But yeah, I mean, this is really cool.
Yeah, I mean, I like the theme of it. And they've incorporated it everywhere into all the items look like Egyptian.
Yeah, I mean,
jewelry and furnishings you might find in a tomb. The box itself is a tomb. I mean, it's very pretty. I mean, I'd say the playmat's a little basic. Like they didn't put a lot of features into, like the crocodile is very, almost looks like a plastic crocodile, even though it's clearly supposed to be a crocodile. But yeah, I mean, that's the only thing. But for the price, this is ridiculously over the top as far as the theme. I'm probably at a 9 is probably where I'm at on the theme.
I agree with that. I mean, the quality. See, here's the problem: is you almost can't separate theme and quality of pieces for this, because that's. I mean, you feel the theme, and it's largely in part of the top-notch quality of pieces. But I do think there's some gameplay mechanics that are involved, with the Nile going up the river. So yeah, I'm down with the 9 for theme. Too bad there wasn't a little bit of a story, but I mean, everyone knows Niles, and there might be.
I mean, there's an overview where it's talking about the great king Tutankhamun has passed, and arrangements are being made to fill his tomb with artifacts that will travel with him to the afterlife. Prepare to collect your offerings and cleanse your spirit as you take on the role of priests and priestesses, traveling down the Nile River to gather artifacts for the great king's tomb. Along the way, enchanted idols from the mighty Egyptian gods may assist you in your journey. That's basically it. But thematically, that's pretty much all the story you're going to get from this game. It's we got scores for. Did you give your score for theme?
I agreed with you.
Okay.
All right, so now let's talk about Rulebook. So, seems fairly short.
Yeah, it's an 8-pager. Now this,
but it is a straightforward game.
Yes, there were some translation or typos. I don't know which way you want to go with it. They weren't that many, and they were almost all at the beginning of the rule book.
Okay.
As you went through the rule book later, it was better, but there were a few typos, it doesn't matter, in the first few pages. But there weren't anything to obstruct you being able to interpret the rules. The rules are so basic in this. The sectioning on this is done pretty well. There was a little bit of redundancy even within this 8-page, which is pretty short book, because they mentioned like the different actions, and then they went back and like immediately after said the 2 actions you could take within like the same page, and it was like, okay, you just told me what they were. You don't need to tell me again. So yeah, I mean, it's not bad. I'm going to probably give this 7.5 just because it's very short. It's concise, gets the point across, and it does its job. It does have a few typos.
Yeah. All right. So let's talk about gameplay. So we all have our little boats. I'll be first player. So I'm going to choose where to go. For some reason, I want this token here. I'm going to take it.
And
then, Brady, where would you like to go?
The token you took had an 8 on it. And
right, so I know that there's 8 of that kind, and that when the collection ends, whoever has the most gets 8 points, but whoever has the second most gets 4 points. It gets half the cost.
And this one, you're actually taking points away. So the goal is to get your spirit down to 0 so it can go to its resting place. So the spirit, you're basically contributing points to take away from whatever the starting score is for.
Yeah.
For 2 players, it's 30, but it goes down with each player you add.
Yeah.
So you let's say I'm going to take the 2. So whenever I collect the next 2, these will score. And as soon as this next 2 has this icon, there's other 2s in the game. But once all the 2s of this type are removed, it will be scored. And if I have the most, I will get to remove 2 points off of my score.
Right.
And whoever's second most gets 1 point off their score.
Yeah. So, so you keep going along the way. There are special ability tiles. Basically, when you can meet with the gods, they give you special abilities.
And they have cheat cards that tell you what those actions do.
To be fair, I didn't use any of them the whole game.
I didn't find them real useful. I think I used 1 or 2, but there weren't. It was mainly.
I'm sure there was a couple that probably could have been useful, but I didn't feel like reading them.
Yeah.
It's getting kind of late. This is our second game tonight, so.
Now the 1s are special. If you take a 1, you immediately score the 1 because it's by itself. and you go down one. But there are other ones in the game. These are scarab rings. If you get, once all the scarab rings are gone, whoever has the most scarab rings in total will get to remove 5 points off of their score. So they're worth 1 point each, but you also can get additional bonus of 5. But it's only first place that gets that. It's not any second place for that one. So that's really all there is to it. You just meander down the river until you get to the end, and once everybody's reached the end, then whoever is the lowest on the track wins. If someone ever hits 0, the game ends immediately.
I'm still mad at you because you stole my win.
So, and that's key. The game ends immediately. So as soon as somebody reaches 0 and they're finished their turn, the game is over.
I had 2 8-point sets locked and barreled, but if I had just me trying to collect as most points, it's not about collecting the most points, guys. I find that out the hard way. Like, if I had just went and finished the set, I would have won.
Would you?
Yeah.
Because if there's a tie, the ties are always broken based upon whoever's furthest
No, I had
back.
both of those.
Yeah, but you would have not only collected one of them, right? It doesn't matter how
I know.
far past 0 you get.
No, I know, but I was only like 6 away and I needed 8.
Yeah,
or I would have gotten 8.
If I was second place in them, you would have moved me to 0 as well, and then it becomes a tiebreaker of whoever's furthest back on the Nile. So it wouldn't have mattered if I got to 0 and you got to 0. There's no like -10. It's 0 is 0.
I do not like that.
It's all about a race. It's not about collecting the most points. It's about getting to the 0 first.
So I've got problems with that, and the fact that I played the game wrong. But no, but it's I gotta admit, it's a really good set collection game.
Yeah.
I mean, that's all there is to it, guys. Set collection.
I mean, right.
But I do think there's some strategy to go about, like how far you go. And obviously, I failed because I was like, I'm going to get all the points, and then Randy here wins because now I do not like the fact that you don't get to finish the round. For me, that just seems a little bit like you got an extra turn.
So I think they cut the game off there to focus you, so you don't try to go for the highest point count ones all the time, because otherwise that would be dominating if you took all the 8s and you ran away with that scoring. So basically it's forcing you to look at how do I get to there most quickly. That's the point of it. Reiner Knizia is really known for his games that are very simple mechanics, but they have a little twists like that to try to.
No, I think it's good. I think it's good. I think it's very solidly. Give it a score though.
I mean, it is very basic. I will say it takes a while to set it up.
But it's so pretty. It's worth the setup.
It takes a while. But
yes, the setup long.
I would recommend the mat because it does fit perfectly with the
mat's so amazing.
Yeah, because you meander along the mat and it guides you, and the tiles there are some expansion tiles that were added in for being a Kickstarter type thing. It fit those perfectly, so I do recommend the mat. As far as the gameplay, I'm probably at a 7 on it, I think, because it's just not that much to it, but it's still a fun game for a very simple, like it could be an entry-level game, it could be a casual game while you
could play with some of the older kids. Like, this is a good game. I agree with you on a 7. I mean, is it the heavy strategy no, worker placement, no. But for a set collection game, this is nice and relaxing. It could have the feel of, I don't know, my brain escapes me right now.
If you like Tokaido, this is a type of game similar in that you're just meandering down the path. It's relaxing, but in this case, it's a different theme. Obviously, it's not the Asian theme that you've got with Tokaido. You're not building any kind of panoramas. You're collecting.
I'm not gonna lie, I like this game better.
Yeah, I do too. I'm not a huge Tokaido fan, but it is pretty.
It is pretty, guys.
And this one is pretty as well.
Yeah.
So I think 7 is a good score for this one, and it's definitely something we'll get to the table, I think, with a lot of people as new gamers come over.
With Mare and her group coming.
Yeah, this would be a good one for them.
This would be a good one. All right, well, thank you guys so much for joining us. We had an absolute blast, and hopefully you guys will come hang out with us again. We'll catch you guys later.
Bye.
Bye.